Okay, what I'm going to be doing to start out with here is coaching Trish and Joe through an E.A.R exercise. E.A.R is empathy equals ask and reflect. It's the fundamental active listening exercise that we use in a number of different ways throughout this workshop, and it's just really basic to good communication. And it's also a reversal of the way we typically don't listen. But James chapter 1, verse 19 says, let every man be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. And so if we do listen well, it tends to de-escalate our conflicts, our wrath, so to speak. So Trish and Joe, have you chosen a topic? And if so, what is it?
I tried to chat you, babe, but I didn't get you back. So what would you like to talk about with me?
Hey, I can totally defer to you on that one. You want to talk about something simple like wanting to go to different places to eat?
That would be fine. Something simple.
But awesome.
But that one's easy for me because I'll go wherever you want us to go.
Okay, pick something that's more a little bit of a conflict.
Okay.
What is like a conflict? Like maybe in the way that you keep your house, or something that does come up from time to time.
Let me think about it. Oh, I know. Getting to church on time.
Okay.
Okay.
Like for Sabbaths, we when you have to go because whatever you think on that one.
That sounds great.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys do rock, paper, scissors, cut, and whoever wins the rock, paper, scissors, cut is the one that goes first. Okay. So rock, paper, scissors, cut. Okay. What did you do, Joe? You did rock. Is that rock? So rock crushes scissors. Joe goes first. All right. So Joe, why don't you start out, and you're going to be telling Trish how you feel about getting to church on time, whatever the issue is. I don't know which one of you is the pokey one, but I'm sure it's probably Trish because Joe has to preach. But I want you to talk about that issue, and then Trish, all that Trish is going to do is ask questions out of loving curiosity and reflect back what she heard Joe say.
Hun, I really need to leave like 10 minutes ago. It's important that I get to church because if I don't have time to decompress when I get there or to find the microphone if they have set it somewhere, I can really feel stressed before I get up on the platform, and that's never helpful.
Okay, that's good. Trish, why don't you just digest that and share it back with them?
So, babe, what you're saying is that you're feeling like stressed, maybe, and that no, you are. You said you're feeling like you need to leave earlier, and that so that you can actually get there on time, so you can decompress before church starts, so you can find your mic and everything that you need.
Do you have any? That was very good, Trish. She just did a great job of reflecting back what he said. Do you have any questions for him, Trish?
Yeah. So what time would you like to leave?
Absolutely. I would love to be leaving around 8:30. If I can leave around 8:30, that gets me there by about 9. That gives me 30 minutes before anything's supposed to start. And that's plenty of prep time for me.
Okay, now let me say this. At this point, Trish might want to come back with, well, I can't leave that early because it takes me 3 hours to get, or whatever. But that would be not what she's supposed to do. What's supposed to happen is she reflects back again, okay, 8:30 is when you would really like to leave. And it's not until they flip the script and she's the speaker and he's the listener that she gets to express that. So there's some restraint involved in this. You have to restrain yourself from what is natural, which is to put your own subjective desires and position out to the other person. So Trish, can you just digest what he said again?
So you said, Joe, that so you're saying that you would like to leave around 8:30?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. If I leave around 8:30, it takes us about 25 minutes if traffic is decent to get to church, and that gives me a half hour to prep time to tie up loose ends or talk with people that want to talk prior.
Okay, so the only thing that I'm supposed to reflect.
Yep.
Okay, so so that gives you, so getting there by 9:30, before 9:30, by 9 gives you a chance to talk to people and get ready to be able to engage with them.
Absolutely. It also allows me to be calm because I know the microphone is there, the batteries are actually alive. I can talk to almost anybody that needs to talk to me beforehand and still feel relaxed before things start.
So it will help you to feel calm and relaxed.
Absolutely. It beats getting up on the platform sweating and irritable.
I would try asking him, what is it like when you get up on the pulpit and you're irritable and hurried, you know? Ask him that question.
Okay, so how does it feel then, Joe, with when you're not feeling calm and you're feeling irritated or unrelaxed? How does that feel for you when you have to be in the pulpit?
That's a great question. And then I have to see if I have any vocabulary words that describe how I feel. It feels awkward. Sometimes I can feel like a little bit of an imposter syndrome because I'm supposed to be the epitome, or at least in my own mind, I'm supposed to be the epitome of friendliness and cheerfulness and calm on a Sabbath morning, welcoming visitors. And if I'm up there and I am just scattered, I can feel like I don't belong in the pulpit, which is an interesting feeling to start the day off.
I totally empathize as being a pastor too, that's really challenging. And I'm so sorry that you're feeling that way. And I didn't realize that you had so much going on and so many things you were worried about. So yeah, I'm happy to leave at 8:30 if that makes it easier for you, because I want to be supportive of you.
So do you feel heard, Joe?
I do. I especially feel heard because there's follow-up questions. It's not just like, yep, okay, great. Now let's talk about me. It feels like Trisha is interested in what I'm saying, interested in how I'm actually feeling about the issue, and not merely like tolerating the conversation, but by asking questions, showing that there's a genuine quality to this, what's happening.
It's good. So because you feel understood, I want to flip things and I want to give Trisha a chance to talk about her end of things. But I want to point out as well that I have never seen a person that demanded to be agreed with. I have seen almost everyone need to be understood. So that's what she just did.
Right.
You also agreed with him. You said, okay, we'll leave at 8:30. But even if you didn't agree with that, because you had another fish to fry or another issue that wasn't coming into conversation yet, you can still, that understanding is huge. And most people that are mature adults don't need everybody to agree with them. So we're going to flip it now, and Trish is going to express anything on her end that might, Joe might need to be made aware of. So go ahead, Trish. But maybe there's not, what happens to you? What makes you leave a little bit later? Is it that it takes a while to get ready, or you're not a morning person?
Well, I could say something like that. Well, I think what might be helpful too for us, well, I'm wondering if we had worship. So I realized that we have worship every day and we have time to do our worship in our journal. And that's a really important routine to me, to have breakfast together and to have our worship together. So I'm wondering if we could make that, still have that on Sabbath and not forego that. So I think that's where I see our time getting crunched. So I'm wondering if we need to move that. I'd like to still have that as part of our Sabbath routine.
So if I'm understanding what you're saying, what is important to you about Sabbath morning is that we keep some of that routine that we have the rest of the week, and worship, breakfast being two of the big ones for you, to try and figure out a way that we could incorporate that.
Yeah, that would be really, I feel that that's important, because when we miss our worship, it feels like we're under more attack on Sabbath. And I feel like we don't have our armor on together as a couple. And Sabbath can be really tricky for us in ministry. So I would really love to see if there's a way we can somehow build in or plan, and maybe that would mean getting your sermon done a little bit sooner, so you're not up so late on Friday, or maybe us going to bed a little bit later on Friday, or whether it means we need to make breakfast the day before or something like that, so that we can eat and have what we need before we're serving everybody else.
Jennifer, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so when I'm reflective listening back, or when the partner is reflective listening back, are in the good proper way of doing this ear exercise, empathy equals ask and reflect, is can the partner that's reflecting back also ask questions? So instead of me just saying, so Trisha, I understand that maybe we can shift our time in the mornings, etc. Can that partner be asking like inferential questions? Is like what you're saying, Trisha, that, it seems like we're skipping a step and that we start then behind. Can the partner do that, or is that not part of this?
The listener does both asking and reflecting.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking? Yeah, the
Yeah.
listener asks questions because the idea is you're drawing the person out. Usually what happens is we push back on what the other person's saying because we
Right.
want to push our agenda. But all that you can do to draw that person out is fine. And so part of that is asking questions for sure.
Okay. So I would say, Trisha, are you actually saying too that on Sabbath morning it feels like we're skipping a step?
Yes.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay. Good. All right. So I gotta stop this because we're on kind of a clock here, but you guys did a fantastic. You guys want to put a little heart on your that was excellent. You guys did very well. You set a good example for all of us. Beautifully done, and it was amazingly efficient. Like you got to a couple key issues very quickly, and that's almost uniformly what happens with this exercise. Is it gets to the key issues super quickly. So very proud of you. Thanks for being on the spot like that. And
good job, babe.
yeah, good job.